John, 7 points out of 9. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, we're delighted. As I said earlier in the week, I expected this to be our most difficult match to date. There was huge expectations around Cork that Bray were going to be an easy touch. You know, and as I said, it was very easy to get up for the game against Pats and even going away to Derry, but I thought tonight it was a very, very hard win, and at times we were lucky. I don't think we played as well as we could have. But to be fair to Bray, I thought they were very good. So we're delighted to have 7 out of 9.
Seemed to take your foot off the pedal when Billy Denny got the second goal, the penalty.
Hard to know. I didn't think that our foot was fully on the pedal for the whole game. To be honest with you, you know, I thought we started quite well. You know, we had an opportunity after maybe the first 2 minutes, and we put them under a bit of pressure early on. Obviously, they were slowing the game to a little bit, but and plus the fact that 2 good wingers that were trying to switch the play quick and get it in behind to them who were dangerous. So I suppose it was one of those nights that I just didn't feel comfortable, you know, and even at 2-0 I didn't feel comfortable because I just felt we made a lot of unforced errors really. We get the ball away a lot that we normally wouldn't do, you know. So, you know, whether it was the fact that we were you know, a little bit tired with the 4th game in 2 weeks, you know, but to be fair to Bray, they had the same situation. So you know, that certainly Bray, you know, came out to play and played very well, but at the same time, in some ways it was probably a lucky 3 points, but look, at the same time it's 3 points and 7 out of 9.
Must be happy though with the fact you didn't have 3 or 4 recognised strikers, and Mark O'Sullivan put in a great shift again.
But it's frustrating really, you know. I suppose, look at, you know, we've tried to address and tackle the striker issue in the club since pre-season. It's just been a real, you know, unfortunate situation that we've ended up with, you know, 3 out of 4 injured. Mark then had to come off, and young Lee Han, who, in fairness to the lad who's only breaking through, and he's a brilliant lad and a great lad, but the step up was high. But to be fair to him, he worked very hard and he was taken out for the penalty. You know, so it has been very disappointing because we were hoping Anthony would make it tonight, and he didn't. But look, at the only thing about it, I suppose, over the next couple of weeks we will have strikers coming back in, and that will certainly help the situation. And I suppose, looking at it, I think there was other areas that we weren't as solid as we had been in the last 2 weeks, I felt, do you know what I mean? And whether that was complacency or maybe just the constant Bray pressure, I'm unsure, but you know, still at the same time just frustrating just to give away a goal in the end, because it would be great to have had another clean sheet, but you know, at the same time, look, we won 3-1.
Happy with John Kavanagh and Gary Buckley's goals?
Absolutely. You know, in fairness to Kavanagh, we made a slight tactical decision when we knew Elding wasn't in. We felt that Kavanagh probably was more direct, and he liked to play higher up the pitch, and he certainly is a very good guy to get a few goals, because he got one against Ward from the Munster Cup, and we just felt that, you know, Liam had a bit of a knock during the week, and we just felt that maybe we needed a guy all energy for the first hour. And in fairness to Kavanagh, he did very well, and it was a super run down the wing by Billy, which was a good move actually, and we got to the end line. But we had planned to do that quite a bit tonight, but we didn't get us to the end line as much as we had planned, and that's credit to Bray and the way they played. But Buckley then, you know, in fairness, got the third goal, which really killed them then. It was a great strike from the edge of the box.
And John, next Friday we got Athlone. How are your thoughts towards that? Are you?
Well, I'm just delighted it's a week away, so we can try and rest and recover and try and get our energy back, because it's you know, the situation with us. We must keep our feet on the ground. We must keep our attitude right. We must work as hard as we can. When you do those things, you can be a very good side. If you play or go to the pitch and think you're better than you are, or you leave your brains in the dressing room, games become very difficult. And going to Athlone is going to be very, very difficult, because they're at home. It's an open ground. You know, usually it's windy there, so you have to deal with elements. But at the same time, you know, they're after coming up. Mick Cook is an experienced manager. He's bringing in and building a new team. It's been a very hard start for him. But you know, sometimes when you're under the cosh, you come out fighting, and and we have to be careful because it's a very dangerous match.
Would you hope to have Anthony back so for next Friday?
Well, I would, but I hope to have him back for tonight. He wasn't. So
won't be for after.
Michael won't be. No.
Well, that's Mark's injury.
Mark is a hip injury, but Mark's a tough boy, and Mark should be okay. But to be fair to the guy, he's adjusted to full-time football, and he probably needs to understand that he needs to rest during the week, because it's not like junior football or senior league football, so you have to rest and get your energy back. And I said to him after the match, I felt, after half an hour, 35 minutes, he wasn't as sharp as I thought he would be, and he said he felt tired. I says, that's professional football, you have to rest during the week. We came back from Derry last Sunday, we came in at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was nearly a 2-day write-off because the guys were, the travelling is so severe, which people don't understand. When you get back, getting back to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, going to bed, so I felt even during the week we didn't do much, because I felt it was even yesterday at training before we even looked as if we were right. So, and Mark has to I suppose adjust to this, whereas if you're used to senior league and you get away with it, you don't get away with League of Ireland. You have to be in top form every week, you know what I mean? And he did well now tonight, but I think there's certainly a lot more in him,
And John, there was 2,700 there tonight. Were you happy with the crowd, or were you maybe hoping for a bit more?
Well, look, first of all, I'd just like to personally thank the crowd for coming out. We appealed for a big crowd. To get close to 3,000 people was fantastic. It was a very bad day, a very wet day, a very cold night, and people came out, and I'm delighted they came out in force. Obviously, again, people didn't see it as a big fixture around the city, but to be fair to the 3,000 that turned up, they gave us great support, and the noise was great, and at least when we were under pressure, they dug in and rode in behind us, and at least I suppose when they got the third goal, there was a huge cheer of relief, I think, from everyone, so it was great. Look, would you prefer to have bigger crowds? Of course you would, but to be fair, it was probably probably a lot of people switched off during the day when the weather was so bad.
What's it feel like to be on top of the table, Shamrock Rovers, after 3 weeks? Does it match your expectations?
It doesn't really matter. I suppose, and I don't mean that cocky. I just mean that, look, we have to keep our head down. I didn't even ask for any other result. I'm not interested at the moment. I just want us to keep focus and just take most important game to us is at Low next Friday, and we have to work as hard as we can to try and see can we keep the pressure on. And later in the year we'll be looking at tables. This time of the year doesn't mean anything.
John, how happy are you with the midfield tonight, given I guess that Mark had a lonely role to play? The support was excellent, and the fact that all the goals came from midfield as well, it really is a telling sign given the absentees we have through injury.
Yeah, well, look, we actually went to play 4-3-3. That was our system. We done a lot of work on it, and I think early in the game you could see that Captain was up, Billy was up, and Mark, and we were pushing them back. But for one reason or the other, we sort of seemed to, and we had Gary told to push up with Mark. So we're nearly even going 4-2-4 at times, the way we had planned it. But I suppose certainly after we scored, Bray came into the game, and whether we backed off, which can happen, it did seem all of a sudden that we did see the back off, and Bray took over the play and seemed to dominate. But look, at the end of the day, it was a hardship for the midfielders, because we were trying to push the 2 wide guys on and train Bucks on, and you could see before half time, the 20 minutes before half time, when Bray were breaking from our attacks to situations where Colin was 3v1 and 3v2 against some Garrod, and they were causing us problems. So we came in at half time, we tried to say, look, let's settle down, let's get our shape back, and let's sit in there and try and pass the ball a bit better, hold our shape. There's no need to be gun ho. We were 1 up, and let's see can we be a bit more patient and get the second goal, you know what I mean? So and I suppose, look, when we got the second goal, it probably, I felt then we were in control, even though Bray had a bit of the play. But obviously with the third goal, then we knew we were home and dry at that stage.
Were you disappointed? Obviously the last minute, John Levy was in here before you and just spoke about the disappointment of leaving it in at the last minute.
Well, look at before the game, someone tells you're guaranteed to have 3 points, you're going to have 7 or 9, you're going to be happy. When you're 3-0 up in the last 2 minutes and you give away a soft goal, where we had a bit of indecision, which is disappointing, because we've been working very hard on defending. We're stressing not to be indecisive, to deal with Paul. And like we were in Derry last week and we were fantastic. We gave them no chance. We dealt with everything. Guys took huge responsibility. And a bit of lack of concentration, and we had 2 or 3 times we could have, when the ball came in, first header was missed, second header was missed, the ball off the crossbar, no one reacted. So there was a combination. So being fussy, but we, of course 3-0 is better than 3-1.
That's great. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.